It's the Digital Board Gamer here, today with our week in review for April 14th to the 18th. We have 3 beta games to look at and 2 full releases, plus a fun Easter egg to peek at. Our Monday release was Easy Peasy, a quick, silly little card game on BGA. Easy Peasy is an up-and-coming new game that came out just this year. It's 2 to 6 players, real lightweight, not a lot of votes because it's not out yet. As you see here, it's coming in France later this month, but other countries they're still in works. So if this is something you want physically, you're going to have to wait a little bit. In this game, first player will decide if we're going up or down. Then we're going to be playing cards from our hand or our row. You're going to be playing up if it's up, so obviously a bigger or equal to card. And if you play the same color, you can go again. You can flip over a card, or you can play another card. Play continues back and forth until someone runs out of cards either in their row or their hand. If you cannot play a card, you have to draw 2 cards like he did there, and then you flip up to down or vice versa, and then you get to go. Once somebody runs out of cards either in their hand or row, the round is over. You then calculate your score in each of them, and you score the higher of the 2. Now, if you're the one that goes out and you have more points than other players, you actually times your points by 2. But if you're lower, like I was here, 5 versus 7, then you score no points. And then you play to 3 rounds, or you can play up to a certain amount of points. Overall, I gave this one a 6. I wasn't a big fan. I think it's more of a light, quick family game, and it's just not something I play a lot on BGA. Easy Peasy is a free game, and it plays okay in turn-based. I think your turns are real quick, so that's usually not my favorite in turn-based, but it works okay. Friday's release was Leaders, a 2-player only abstract game with hero powers. This is another unreleased game coming out here shortly first. My assumption is it's again going to be out in France first and then English later. Currently doing pretty well with the few ratings it has, so we'll see if it can stick with it. So abstract strategy game, you're going to be trying to capture your opponent's leader by either putting 2 of your pieces next to it or surrounding its leader with its other pieces or the edge of the board. During your turn, you'll move your characters first, either using basic abilities and then possibly special actions. Then for the first 4 rounds, you'll be recruiting. So you see here I have 3 guys I can pick. You pick one of them, it goes down your play area. You add them to the board. Then as you can see, you're just going to be moving your characters, recruiting another one. After the 5th round, you'll have 5 leaders, so you'll no longer recruit, and it'll just be moving around trying to capture the opponent's leaders. Overall, I really like this one. The character powers really change it up, which ones you see, etc. There's an option to ban. The expert mode has a couple bans in it that you can do. I think that once you know the characters really well and you know which ones are super strong and work well together, that could be a really cool way to play it. I gave Leaders a 7. I think if you haven't checked it out yet, it's really worth the time. It's a fun game. We have 3 beta games to check out today. Scratch and Catch is the first one. A card-based game where you're going to be trying to get rid of fleas and take cards. This one has very little information on BGG. Not even enough ratings to give it a score, so definitely not out yet. Coming out soon, I'm sure. During your turn, you're going to be playing 2 cards. The first card has no effect, and the second card is where you're going to be discarding fleas and drawing cards. So you're going to play 1 card here. I play the 5, and now I'm going to play my 4. And because I have 3 in a row here, I got rid of 3 fleas, and then at the end of my turn, I draw 2 cards. My opponent here is going to add a 7, which, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row now in a series, he lost 5 fleas. Now my opponent here will play on the 6. When you play a card and there's already a card down, you draw the cards next to the numbers. So you draw all the 5s and all the 7s. Because he played the disco one here on top, I had to actually draw 2 fleas as well. You see the game ends here when a player has no more flea tokens, or when a player can no longer draw to complete their hand. And then you score points based on this flea table, and then each cat card you have in hand is also worth a point. Overall, this one was fine, not my favorite. It did work fine, turn-based, and is a free game. Next up, we have Hanging Gardens, a card tile placing game. This one here is also coming out soon. 1 to 5 players, and then right now it's sitting at a 6.7 with only 35 ratings. Does play in about 14 minutes. In this game, you're going to be building your hanging garden here. You see you start with an irrigation card, and that's where you want to try to get your water card. So you see there, and you see the points attached to it. And then depending on how many irrigation cards you get is how many points you get. But basically, you're going to be drafting cards based on here. You see there's workers down here, so you can only gather in rows where workers are available. It's a 2-player game, so there's 2 per, but in a 3-player game, 4-player game, there's more. If you take the bottom row, it's free, but then you see it costs 1 of these little architect points, 2 and 3. And there's some goals on top that kind of drive you a certain way. All you're doing is taking one of these tiles and add them to your hanging garden. Normal building rules where you have to start at the bottom, and then once you have 2, you can build up, and then so on. So it is possible to build a little hanging garden and then extend on. Money here is used to buy these guys here. They fill in the blank ones. But during your turn, you pick one, you place it down, and then your opponent goes, and so on. Now, there's special icons here like this. Depending on which row he's on, you get architect points. There's one that give you money, etc. This one does have a solo option, so if you're interested in that, I heard it's pretty good. I've yet to try it out. And then once everybody has placed all their pieces, the game ends. You see you score points for your waters, your biggest group of each flowers. All the trees have slightly different scoring. You score for visitors, then you score for the royal objectives. Overall, I really like this one. This is definitely one I'll be checking out more. Hidden Gardens is a free game, and it works well in turn-based, as I think there's quite a bit to think about when drafting each piece. And for our big beta game of this week, Parks, the 2nd edition. So earlier this year, I think in January, they took Parks, the 1st edition, down. And I mentioned in my week in review they were taking it down because the 2nd edition was coming. Well, it's finally back. It's here now, and you can play the 2nd edition. It's 1 to 5 player game. It's currently rated 7.8. BGA says it takes about 40 minutes real time. And I thought this played great turn-based. There's a lot of videos out how to teach Parks, but the general gist is you're on this hike from left to right. You cannot go back. As soon as you move your hiker to a certain spot, you can't move back to the left. You have to keep going. You do have 2 of them. Once somebody gets both of their hikers all the way to the end, the round, everybody then has to also go to the end and the round will be over. But the general gist is you're going to be collecting these resources to visit these parks, and you basically just pay the resources and then you claim the parks. There's some bonuses here that you need to look out for, as well as everybody. There's an option to play with these passion cards, which I think are really cool. So it kind of gives you a goal to go for. And on the start of the board, there's always some bonus resources on here. So the first player to go to each spot will get those bonus resources. You can get equipment here for the cost of sun to make certain spots a little bit more powerful. So it's all a very light game, but I do feel like there's a lot there. I think the artwork's amazing. You know, mostly on BGA, I don't really care about the artwork, but this artwork that they've used here on Parks is just so cool looking. I really do appreciate it. So if you haven't played Parks before, the 2nd edition is a great way to start. Or if you played the 1st edition but haven't played the 2nd edition yet, you can check it out. I know a lot of people are getting their 2nd editions right now. I've seen a lot of videos on getting the 2nd edition recently, so I know they're out there now. And then lastly, 2 parts. On Friday, they did have a little mini release. They're having a dragon egg hunt, so a little Easter egg hunt on BGA. There are 20 eggs hidden around the website. Rest assured, there are none hidden in any games. They're all on different parts of the website, but they won't be on any game pages. So you can go around, click on them. Some of them are tiny, so you have to look at really close to try to find them. I think later this week, I'm going to have a video showing you where all 20 of them are at, in case you get a little stuck. I've been hunting and making notes, so my hope is to find all 20, and then I'll create a second account and show you where they're all at. Also, Bunny Kingdom. They also mentioned that the expansion went to full release. So you see here, this is how BGA does their expansions. You just click here, and you can turn on expansion content for their games. So it's cool. It's always awesome when expansions actually come to BGA because they're not very common for sure. Well, that's all the time I got for you today. If you like the video, like the video. As always, I've been the Digital Board Gamer. Good luck and have fun.